Good morning. Welcome to the most underrated show on YouTube. Lots of news today about Biogen. It was that consumed most of my morning, so we're going to get into that. All right. Let's see what's happening. So, lots of stuff came out about Biogen. And it's interesting. I said the other day, I said the other day that, and I said it in our Biogen video, I would not be surprised to see if this drug got pulled off the market in 6 to 18 months. And it just seems like there's a lot of bad stuff coming out about it. And let us move over and just start with the Biogen stuff because I really, really want to talk about it. Let's start with the cost. Okay. So the Medicare copay for Alzheimer's drug aducanumab could hit $11,500 annually. So they say the cost of the drug is $56,000. This is roughly a little bit over 20%. That's going to be the copay. That's a lot. Now, a new $56,000 a year Alzheimer's drug would raise Medicare premiums broadly, and some patients who are prescribed the medication could face co-payments of $11,500 annually, according to this research report. Let's see here. It's the first Alzheimer's medication in nearly 20 years, though it doesn't cure the life-spanning neurological disease. The FDA determined that its ability to reduce clumps of plaque in the brain is likely to slow dementia. But many experts, including the agency's own advisors, say the benefit has not been clearly shown. That's where the issue comes in. This was a very lax approval. Okay, doctor. Okay, so here I have another story about this, but oh goodness, here we go again. I think I just needed to get a new mouse because this thing is super sensitive and the sensitivity is turned down. Okay, this guy, I'm going to call him Dr. K. A medical researcher at Harvard University said in his resignation letter, third FDA panel member to resign due to this approval. 3 out of 11. The FDA's recent approval decisions would undermine the public trust, medical innovation, and the affordability of the healthcare system. Earlier in the week, 2 expert neurologists also quit the panel. Let's see. A Kaiser report estimated that if 500,000 Medicare recipients are prescribed Aduhelm, it would cost the program nearly $29 billion a year, far more than any other medication. At this price, the cost of one drug alone could top all others covered by Medicare if used widely. Now, if this was curing the disease, then it might justify the cost. But the fact that there's not proof, and there's very weak proof, that it actually does treat the disease and slow progression, then it seems like there hasn't been a consensus. Both monthly premiums, beyond monthly premiums, there would also be impacts on out-of-pocket costs. Many patients taking the medication, including those signed up for Medicare Advantage plans from private insurers, could face thousands of dollars in co-payments. The maximum could reach $11,500. Okay, so that's basically that from this story. So that's not good. And here is the panel member that quit. The third panel member of the FDA resigns after the approval. So a third member has quit the panel, and he said it was probably the worst drug approval in recent U.S. history. At the last minute, the agency switched its review to an accelerated approval pathway based on debatable premise that the drug's effect on the brain amyloid was likely to help patients with Alzheimer's disease. He wrote, "It was clear to him that the agency is not presently capable of adequately integrating the committee's scientific recommendations into the approval decisions. This will underestimate the care of patients, public trust in the FDA, and the pursuit of useful therapeutic innovation and the affordability of healthcare and the affordability of the healthcare system. I was very disappointed at how the advisory committee input was treated by the FDA." This is somebody else, not men told. This is another person who resigned. "I do not wish to be in a position like this again." So that's it for Biogen, guys. I don't really have anything else to say about it after today. Just be very careful with it. That's all I have to say. If you want to, I texted Paul this morning. No, it's not another Theranos. It's not another Theranos. This is not a scam. This is an approval that in my opinion, shouldn't have been approved. And it's not just my opinion, it's a lot of opinions of a lot of people that do this for a living and know a hell of a lot more than I do about this. But I'm just looking at the basic research, not from these news stories. I'm reading the clinical trials, and it just, even for me to look at it and say this doesn't add up. I texted Paul this morning and I said I think we're going to be able to buy this company sub 200 sooner rather than later. So we'll see. Hopefully it. What I hope is that all of this is nonsense. The drug was approved. I hope it works a little bit better. I hope it benefits patients. I hope the cost justifies the means. And yeah, that's it. All right. Yeah. Okay. Frenchie, this is not a stock trading show, but whatever you like to think. Next, let's do oil demand. So this is an interesting one with all of the stuff that's coming out about EVs and this and that, and now we're taking oil demand is going to exceed pre-COVID levels by the end of 2022. Interesting. Oil demand is set to rise above pre-COVID levels by the end of 2022, but oil producers will need to boost production. Now, admittedly, I don't really understand oil that much. Frankly, anybody that says they understand oil, I don't really believe them. But the Paris-based body expects consumption to rebound 5.4 million barrels per day as the exchange rolls out. Let's see. It expects a further 3.1 million barrels per day increase in 2022 to an average of 99.5 million barrels per day, with the increase at the end of it. Okay, so bottom line is oil is back, baby. I mean, if these are the numbers that are truly going to come out, then yeah, I mean, we hold, by we, I mean my family, not in my personal accounts. So that's why I don't publish it to the Bid and Ask Nation. But we hold a lot of BP, and I mean, it's been going pretty well for us. We bought it around $15 back when everything was going to hell in a handbasket, and it's working out okay. So am I going to add? I don't think so, but it's just because of the size of my position already. But yeah, so let's get to inflation. Inflation is hotter than expected, but it looks temporary. If somebody in the Fed could just define what temporary means, that would just make my life so much easier. Does temporary mean 6 months? Does temporary mean 6 days? Does temporary mean 6 years? In the grand scheme of things, I could say temporary means 6 years. Come on. Give me a definition instead of just keep saying temporary. What the hell does temporary mean? Consumer prices jumped more than expected in May, but the surge in inflation looks to be temporary and should not push the Fed to tighten policy for now. The consumer pricing index rose 5% in May on a year-over-year basis, the highest number since 2008 when oil prices were skyrocketing. Ooh, I see a similarity. This is like from Uncle Buck. What is it? What's the guy's name? Bug? Nat? I see a similarity there. All right. Fed officials have described the current period of high inflation as transitory. If somebody could tell me what transitory means, I would absolutely love that. That just tell us what you mean. But of course, they're not going to tell us what they mean because it's going to put everybody into panic mode. The Federal Reserve will meet on June 15th and 16th, and then they will give their 2 o'clock Fed notes. Then the Jerome Powell will talk at 2:30, and the market will crash. And then on the next day, on whatever the next day is, the market will surge, and then everything will just be back to normal. Economists expect the first step towards easing would be the Fed would publicly discuss its decision to cut back its $120 billion Treasury and mortgage-backed securities buys each month. This is my favorite part of the story. The bond buying, or so-called quantitative easing, it's not so-called, it is called quantitative easing, when the Fed comes in and buys bonds and puts liquidity into markets to keep rates low. That is called quantitative easing, not so-called. So, yeesh. Many economists have been expecting the Fed to talk about tapering bonds at its Jackson Hole Symposium in August. let's see here. This Mark Zandi, chief economist at Moody's, he said, it is premature to conclude all of this is transitory and where the underlying inflation is ultimately going to land when we get through the price normalizations. He expects when the surge is over, inflation will be at a higher level than its pre-pandemic levels. I do agree with that statement. And let's see what Grant Thornton's representative said. He expects the Fed to wait till the end of summer to start talking about changing its bond purchases. So we'll see. Everybody's talking about different things, and that's that. So we're just going to have to sit and wait and see what happens. So June 15th, what's today's date? Today's the 11th, so the 15th is what, Tuesday? Yeah, so on Tuesday. So Wednesday, we're going to have information. So expect a slow week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week. And that's that. Looks like Vegas is coming back, baby. According to JP Morgan. Vegas Strip operators have operating momentum. So it looks like some trade shows are coming back, conventions are coming back. I know that's a huge driver of Vegas. Its trajectory is in the upward direction. Strip hotel occupancy was around 66%, up from 31% in January. Paul and I just booked a trip there in December, and Nicole is coming. And we're going to see Shania Twain again. Let's go, girls. All right. Apple. I think Apple's getting serious about this Apple car. Now, I think it's going to be 2023 or 4, but they're getting serious. They've hired a former person from, what's the name of the company? Tesla, that was in charge of the Model 3 battery design. And now they've hired this guy from BMW who was in charge of the i3 and the i8. Apple has hired Erlich Kranz, former senior executive at BMW who focused on electric cars, and Apple has confirmed this. The hire is the latest sign that Apple is serious about building a car. Apple has never confirmed that it's building a car, but it pretty much, this is pretty much getting to the point where it is. So I'm super pumped for this Apple car. This thing is going to be sick. I think they're going to probably call it the Apple car, not the iCar, because they're getting away from, I think they're trying to get away from i stuff, except for their core devices. Okay. This was a great one. Tesla begins deliveries of its new Model S Plaid. Sounds pretty good, huh? They're coming out. Here comes the car. They begin deliveries of the new Model S Plaid, the high-performance vehicle from the company. So they have the Model S, then they have the Model S Plaid, then they had a Model S Plaid Plus. But they got rid of the Plaid Plus because it was going to be too expensive to make. So this is the best. So Elon Musk said, we're in production and are going to deliver 25 cars now. Sick. And then basically should be at several hundred cars per week soon and 1,000 cars per week next quarter. This thing has a tri-motor with, so most of the cars have a single motor or a dual motor. This thing produces 1,020 horsepower, which is absurd. And it still gets a range of 390 miles, which is incredible. He noted that with the charging thing, the Plaid S can get 187 miles of charge in 15 minutes. That's pretty sick. Now I highlighted this for basically myself because I want to know about it. So the 4-door sedan is going to have that weird steering wheel where there's not a top and there's not a bottom. So it's like a racing steering wheel. 17-inch touchscreen display in the front, 8-inch in the back. The 8-inch in the back is pretty sweet. You're going to have a little you're going to have a little screen there, and then you can take your phone and use it as a video game controller and play video games on it. That's pretty awesome. I would sit in the back seat and play MLB The Show. Charging ports in the front and the rear that can charge laptops and other mobile devices. Processing power that the company says puts the system on par with modern gaming consoles such as the PlayStation 5. Sweet. This is a great part of the story, but I can't say this, so you guys are just going to have to read it. When Musk began to discuss the user interface updates to be featured in the Model S Plaid, attendees began heckle at him, shouting for waypoints. You really want waypoints? The CEO said, all right, fine. We'll do waypoints, blank. All right? He's my favorite CEO of all time, and nothing's going to be better than him. It's just not possible. On Thursday, the price of the Model S Plaid had increased $10,000 to $130,000. And that compares to the $80,000 long-range one. Oh, Greystone. You don't need $120,000 for the Plaid now. as of yesterday, you need $130,000 for the Plaid. I've never seen a car company just flippantly change prices of their cars. It's the guy is something. He leaves me speechless, but I do love him. He's just wonderful. Just absolutely wonderful. All right. Let's get to the wins and losses for the week. Tons of them. We'll pull up charts and see what's going on. I want to first look at this Eli Lilly. So I bailed on Eli Lilly back in here on this day because I was done with it. I mean, it filled the gap. It wasn't really doing anything. It was consolidating so hard. And then all of a sudden, the news about Biogen comes out and this thing skyrockets, and it's okay, whatever. I mean, that's kind of a BS excuse, but whatever works for you. So those that held it, congrats. And we do have a lot of people that held it. We have people that made 14%, 17%, this and that. But the point is, yeah, I missed the big run. I miss a lot of big runs, but I make a lot of gains too over time, and I follow my rules. And I was consolidating in this area, couldn't break over it. This is a total fluke event, and you can see that it's already starting to come back down. But the point is, good job if you crush this. So something fun that we're going to start doing on this wins and losses, I'm going to start bringing some of you guys on the show once I figure out how to do this and how I want to format it and whatnot. And you guys can come and just talk about your wins and losses, and we'll go over the charts and this and that. So if you want to be on the show, email me, mo@everythingmoney.com. Make sure you're in the Bid and Ask Nation. If you're not in the Bid and Ask Nation, I'm not letting you on the show. And that's that. So Mason, he made 14% on Eli Lilly, and he covered his annual dues for the Bid and Ask Nation for the year. That's awesome. All right, this one is cool. So this guy named, I don't know how to pronounce your name, Visaturul. I talk to him all the time. I just don't know how to pronounce his name. Maybe you can put it out phonetically for me. The kid, he's been in here for a week. He's been in the Bid and Ask Nation for about a week, and he's been trading, and he's been learning about how to. He's been just watching the Trading 101 series. He's been using all the information that I've provided for him. He made 11% this week on Beam, 13% on RKY, and 12% on the Tattooed Chef. So the point is, you can come in here and learn how to do this, and it's really not that difficult. I'm teaching people that are old, people that are young. I'm teaching Seth's son Gio, who's 11 years old, how to do this, and he's explaining charts to me. This is not that difficult. Oh, Alexandru. Okay. That's much easier for me to pronounce. All right. My friend Nick, up 8.5% on ALKS. That was a long-term trade. That was back from when I was in Kiowa. I don't know if he should have stayed in it or not, but he did. Jay, 15% swing trade. A swing trade is a 1 to 5 day trade. Let's see what he did on Fuel Cell. I think that's the name of the company. F-Cell. All right. Let's see. Swing trade. Aha. Makes sense. Let's zoom in a little bit. I am sure that he added on this engulfing candlestick and made whatever difference that is. Maybe he bought it back here, actually. He could have very well bought it back here. And it was in that overbought area, but all you need to do is play a little bit, play some stops on it. And you had a great run. There was no need to exit except for taking profits going into each of these moving averages, which is no problem at all. So very good. Very good. Okay, one that I want to talk about, because we talk about a lot of wins here because really there's not a lot of losses. But I want to talk about this DocuSign. And this one's interesting because the people that actually lost on this one were my ambassadors in the Bid and Ask Nation. It was Cash, Nick, and Noah. But the most important thing is that they realized, Alexandru, don't be offended. I call everybody a kid. I call people that are like 70 years old kids. It's okay. It's just a habit. Yeah, let's talk about Docu. So they got beat up on Docu, and they happened to get lucky here with this little pop that we had, because I think this is some kind of meme thing. But the most important thing is that they learned from their mistake. And they instantly learned from their mistake. They knew exactly why they didn't make any money on it, or why they lost on it. So here was the time frame and here was the time frame. So I'm going to show you guys and correlate them together. So they were coming up through the sweet spot. Red line crossed over yellow right here, and they entered the position. Now, I assume that they entered on this day. I think it was this day. Good engulfing candlestick. But the problem was, even with that engulfing candlestick, you were running right into this little resistance point here. And if you move over to this daily chart, they were running right into that 100-day moving average. So they were entering way too soon. Volume was very lax, very low. And all of a sudden, this happened. Now, they recognized right away that they bought way too early into the 100-day moving average. And low volume, it just wasn't going to work out for you. Luckily, they held. I don't know why they held, but they held. And they got this pop. They recovered some of their money. All of them took a loss on the position. And they moved on. But that, to me, a loss like that is incredible because you learn from it. I talked about the time that when I was day trading back in the day, probably 2015, I lost 27 grand in, I don't know, what do I say, less than 15 minutes because I wasn't using stops. Now I use stops. It's just easy now. So make sure that you learn from your mistakes. That's what you need to do. If you don't learn from your mistakes, then what are you doing? But good job to Cash, Noah, and Nick. They all learned from their mistakes, and now look at them now. Now they're basically part of the guys running the Bid and Ask Nation. All right, smash the like button for me while we're at this. Kronk. This is another loss that I want to talk about. So I talked about it all week. If you wanted to do something with AMC, you just got to use the 15-minute chart. I don't know where he bought. I have no idea what he did. But he told me, oh boy. He told me that he jumped the gun early. He wasn't following the rules. This is another person that recognized what they did wrong. No stop loss on the position, got in early. Hey, you learn your lesson. As long as you're learning your lesson from things, you are going to do better, and you're going to be better at this in the long term. All right, so we had tons of people that made money on Biogen this week, going long or short on a 15-minute chart. We have people that these people were making 5 or 10% in a matter of 2 minutes because of that crazy day that happened on Monday or Tuesday, whatever day it was. Of course, Caesar's in there crushing it. Caesar's now an ambassador, plus 6% NVIDIA, plus 9% MVIS, plus 8% on Ocugen. Here's another one. Boom. Boom goes the Dino. He's a good patron. Minus 20% on Geo. No stop loss. Got in early. Lesson learned. Made 3% on Clove. Yankees rule. 3.5% on SpaceX. Or no, Virgin Galactic. That's the one. All right, so that's it, guys. Make sure when you are learning about these things, follow the rules. If you follow the rules, you will do well. It's as simple as that. If you want to be good at this, just do what I tell you to do. And I promise you, in the long term, you will do well. It's as simple as that. All right. I miss Biogen because I made coffee and had to take a dump. True story. Yeah, I believe it. All right, guys, give me a couple of stocks. I got a few minutes, and I'll run through them for you. I'm just going to scroll through the comments here. Let's see. Does Everything Money app include charts similar to these ones Mo uses? No, it does not. Mo, no, the A and the X are silent. I don't know what that means. I'm sure this is riveting radio for you. All right. Give me some stocks. There we go. Bitcoin. Ooh. Bitcoin. All right. So my Bitcoin prediction the other day, I took the coin to $44 trillion a coin. because the environment changed dramatically. Today, my new target price is 24,000 a coin. It dropped from 44 trillion to 24,000 a coin. I am not bullish on Bitcoin at this moment. The environment has changed drastically. So I think I'll be buying a ton of Bitcoin at 24,000 a coin if things don't change in the next couple minutes and move back somewhere around 44 trillion. So, yeah. That was a very disappointing bearish case for me on Bitcoin. It really, I got a little bit disappointed, but I'll get through it, guys. Don't worry. All right. 3-month is not doing anything, but pay attention over here, guys. Look at the 10-year. Look at this 10-year dropping. 1.45%. That ain't good. If I talked about the reversal in the yields, the 3-month and the 10-year. So not that the 3-month is moving. 3-month is effectively zero, but watch out for this rate reversal if things keep going in this in this direction. That could get a little dicey. All right. Yeah, Bitcoin was disruptive earlier this week. I don't really think it's that disruptive anymore. So that was my rationale for changing my price point dramatically. All right. Well, Grand Poobah, it was 44 trillion. Now it's 24,000. So, all right, guys, here's the Bid and Ask Nation. No, that's not what I meant to say. Here's the Everything Money Patreon, patreon.com/everythingmoney. If you just want the software, $24 a month. If you want to join the Bid and Ask Nation and be in the chat with me and all of the great people there's over 500 people that are trading in there, $68 a month, and you get all the Everything Money software for free. And if you ever have a real estate deal and you want to do a consult with Paul, here you go, $10,000. Analyze your deal with him and Yaguchi. And Paul is very good. I would never buy a property without him. That's all I have to say. All right. I was disruptive after my coffee this morning. All right. Let's do Jazz. Jazz Pharmaceuticals. Let me do a zoom out and let me do a zoom out because they said it's a power stock. So, yeah, technically this is a power stock, but a power stock, no, this isn't a power stock. What a power stock is when the red line comes through the sweet spot like this, gets to the top and goes sideways, 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 and just keeps going sideways as the price increases. This is just a stock that's going up and down and up and down and up and down. And a power stock is also very tight. This is extremely loose. Your candle should be within something like this for a power stock. Like Texas Instruments was a good example back in the day. So this is not a power stock. You're making new all-time highs though. So if you want to get in on it, go for it, but just make sure you're playing with stops. That's all I have to say about that one. Does Patreon take Bitcoin? No, we actually want to make money. Yeah, guys, smash the like button for me on your way out. Where's all the questions? Root? I'll do root, I guess. Oh, you know what? Somebody in the where was I? Somebody here asked me a question in the chat. And I told them I would look at it, and I can't remember what it was now, so that's good. I think it started with an A. Oh, guys, by the way, I was looking at Discovery yesterday to sell puts on it, and I still like it. I still think they have a lot of potential, so I am going to go ahead and sell puts and generate money on there. Okay. So Root, no, I don't want to do anything because as you can see it's not even 200 days old. I don't have a 200-day moving average, so I would not trade something like Root. The stock that the patron was looking for is ANVS. What do we got here? Oh, not bad. I can always tell the Bid and Ask Nation members versus the non. All right, so okay. Aside from this awful volume that really doesn't exist except for a few days of hype, it's moving nicely through the sweet spot, but man, be careful with this. Just as fast as this can go up, this can come down. Why don't we take a look at the line chart and see? All right, the market is open, by the way. Ooh, okay. So it's making actually some very nice W formations moving up. If you want to do something with this, you can. Just make sure you get a green engulfing candlestick and put stops in place. I would put a stop right here at whatever this level is. That level is probably $70, $69, something like that. So, all right, I'll look at one more, and then I'm going to take off for the weekend. I think I'm going to go get my hair did right now. I have breakfast with a friend. I have shingles flying off my roof from wind, so I'm going to have a roofer come over today. Then I'm going to the Indians game tonight. First Indians game since like 2018. All right. Alcoa, I don't like what's happening because it can't choose a direction. It's kind of just going into that sideways area. So wait until this red line either goes this way or goes this way. Okay? This one you just need to be patient with. All right, I'll do Neo, and then I'm going to be done. LB champ, I am a very, very extra human being. That is correct. All right, Neo. Oh, swing trade. Let's see what we're swinging over here on Neo. You're going right into the 100-day moving average, so be careful. And you can see that it's had 3 days where it just can't break through that 100-day. So if you want to break above that thing, then you're going to be fine. But you're going to need volume to do that. But I do think that you're just going to bounce between the 200 and the 100 for quite some time like this until you get some kind of news that is going to spike it up and go that way. So that's it for today, guys. That's it for the week. Great week. Lots of news out there. Lots of Biogen news out there. Lots of inflation news out there. Guys, we're only going to make this show and this channel better and better. So I appreciate you guys all coming in and supporting every morning. And yeah, it's incredible how much time and how much time I put into this now. It's like I never would have thought that I was going to be on YouTube in my life. I always looked at these YouTube people. I was like, who would do that? Why would you do that? This and that. And here we are. So we are like 3,000 subscribers, a little over 3,000 subscribers from giving away a Tesla, which is wild. And that's it. So you guys have a great weekend. I will see you on Monday morning. And that's it. Peace.